Hey everyone! Today I wanted to share a little bit more about why I am a firm believer that copywriting can be such an easier route to becoming your own boss and replacing your corporate income as opposed to something like coaching. And I'm not bashing coaching. I have coaches for pretty much everything in my life. I'm just speaking from someone who actually tried that route first and went into a lot of debt for it, who spent years gaining traction and eventually became more successful, and then chose to pivot to copywriting full time. And I'm going to share more about why. So just in case those of you are in a similar position as I was, I want you to just know you have options. Where when I left corporate America, for some reason, I really felt like I had to come up with like a brand new business idea from scratch, or become a coach of some sort, maybe do like network marketing or become someone's virtual assistant. Like, I just, for some reason, never ever thought, oh, I could do something like copywriting and make six figures or multiple six figures and do it like right away. And so I just want to put this out there as an option because I'm super passionate about helping other people realize that same life and work freedom that I have felt from this business and this path. And I just feel like it's a secret that I can't keep to myself. And I have a content marketing agency now, so I love mentoring my writers. I love being able to help them build their businesses and create this kind of freedom where they can do this work from anywhere and anytime. And so I'm gonna let you in on like some of the secret sauce today of why I think the way I do. And if you're debating what to do, or you're stuck in corporate America or some job that you don't love and you're thinking of making a break but you're not sure how to do it, here's like some stuff to think about. So I believe coaching can be one of the hardest ways to do it. And it's not to say it's not a worthwhile path, or if you just are so passionate about it that it's not something that would be right for you. I just think it's one of the harder ways. And here's a few reasons why. So number one, it takes a good amount of time for you to build a reputation where people recognize you, where they recognize like what you're talking about and what your niche is, where they trust you and they've seen you enough and they trust your skills and they trust your consistency that they want to go out and they want to hire you. And that can take months, that can take years. For me in my coaching business, I had like a trickle come through initially where I'd sell a product or a coaching session here or there, but it wasn't until a few years in that I really started to book up with calls and feel like, okay, like I'm actually starting to make some money here. It's more reliable. Like people are coming out of the woodwork, like they've been watching me all these years, and now it's finally clicking. Let me tell you, that is a long time to sustain yourself with just a trickle of clients coming in here and there, or a meal plan or a product or whatever you're selling once in a while. And the second piece of it is that you don't get money for that building. So on the one hand, it takes a long time for people to find you, and on the other hand, you're not getting paid for all that time that you're spending being consistent, showing up on social media, blogging, keeping your website current, developing your branding, like testing your niche, like trying out ads. Like you don't have a lot of money coming in the door to sustain yourself or to build those things. And so what happens to a lot of business owners is they either live off their savings, and that was my experience. I had saved up money to get me through for a little while. They take freelance work like copywriting, and that's kind of how I stumbled into this path, because I just realized, oh my gosh, I'm doing this thing that I make money for reliably, that's so easy to get clients, that pays me really well, and why don't I just like think about that a little bit more closely. So side hustle is a way to do it, or you go into debt. And I did that too. Like there's no shame. I'm not saying you should at all, but I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just trying to say like it can be really hard to sustain those first few years and get through them. And even Wells Fargo says the average new business owner will take on about $10,000 of debt to grow their business and to sustain those first few years. There is another study by Kaufman firm that estimates that number is closer to 80,000. And crazy as it is to think about it now that I'm out of it, I would say that's definitely closer to what I was. I went tens and tens of thousands of dollars into debt on advertising that I was told I should do, and it was my choice, but following those types of coach or whatever that mentored in that way, and expensive coaching programs and things like that. So for me, that is a risk, right? Where like on the one hand, it takes a long time to get your name out there and get people trusting you enough to buy. And on the other hand, who's paying for that whole time? It's like your savings, the bank, or a side hustle usually is. So you just have to take that into account, that it is a long road. It can be worthwhile, especially if that's your path, but it can take a while, and financially that can be harder than something where you can make money the day you begin, like with copywriting. The other kind of double-edged sword of it is that the more hours you work, so the more successful you start becoming, in some ways the less free you are. And that was my experience that I hadn't expected. So I was so excited to start getting booked out with clients and to have calls all day, and like I did not realize that I in some ways was giving up that feeling of freedom that I was pursuing when I left corporate America. So because I wanted to travel and to see the world, I just found myself making it work, doing calls, at 11 p.m. or midnight or just these crazy times, and like keeping my energy up and wanting to be so fully on for these people. But it was hard. I just felt like I was so willing to do whatever it took and to work as much as I could to make it happen. But the further I got out of corporate America, in a weird way, the more I started to feel like I was back in it, where I had calls back to back all day. I was constantly on email communications and dealing, with just supporting the people that I was so thrilled to be supporting. And then I still had to go and do all the stuff I didn't get paid for, like the blogging, the social media, the website, the invoicing, the branding, the events and stuff like that for brand recognition. And so for me, like it was a fulfilling path in the sense that I really loved who I worked with, and I loved feeling like I was making a difference. But it was a harder struggle in terms of actually making a viable business and not just feeling like I was doing all this work to barely like break even at the end of the month, And so for me, like what I didn't realize all along is, as I mentioned, I was doing a lot of freelance copywriting on the side when I needed to, just to make ends meet and to extend my savings a little longer or pay down some of the business debts that I'd gotten myself into. Lessons learned there. But it wasn't until I started thinking about, okay, wow, like I'm pretty exhausted at the end of these days, and now I have these clients, which is what I wanted and what I loved in so many ways, but like I was like, is there a way to keep the essence of it, to still work with clients that I love, to still be able to teach, to do work that's meaningful for me, but not always have to be tied to my computer or my phone, or just be on all day, every day, and then go do the work where there was no pay for it. And for me, I started to realize, you know what? With copywriting, I can choose my clients. I get paid for every single hour that I work, email that I answer, call that I attend. There's none of that like building just to have them like finally recognize you and come to you. And so that was intriguing to me. I could work from anywhere, anytime. There was no issue with time zones, where as long as I had like a Wi-Fi and a laptop, I could get my work done. If I wanted to work in the morning and then go sightsee or explore or just be healthy, like go on a walk or something in the evenings, the afternoons, I could do that. If I wanted to do like a midday yoga class, I could do that. No, there was no shuffling calls or things like that. Like my schedule finally felt like my own again. And so that's one thing that I love about copywriting as an option is, if you're really looking to get out of that corporate grind and you want to see the world, or you want to spend the afternoon with your kids, or you want to just really feel like you're your own boss and you own your schedule completely, I think copywriting is one of the best ways you can do that. Because even if you're doing like virtual assistant work or you're helping someone else, you're still kind of owned by their schedule and their tasks and their launch program or whatever. Whereas if you get your clients and you choose the clients you love and you choose how you want to be communicated with, and you know what your deadlines and your commitments are every month, you can really structure your day in a way that serves you and serves your clients, where they get exactly what they're looking for on time, when they're looking for it, or ahead of schedule. And you get to really structure your day and your life to be able to do that and to deliver, and not just deliver, but like over deliver and still live your life. Like, it's amazing. I think the other thing that I love about copywriting as an easier path to six figures, or replacing your corporate income and still being your own boss, running your own business, is that you can get started right away. So if you know how to write, you can always improve your skills. I always say copywriting and content strategy, they're skills that can be learned. And I know this because I run a content marketing agency, and I teach writers who may start out as beginners and then they become very proficient very quickly. So that's a great part, where like, as long as you know how to get clients, you can go reach out to clients today. Like and it doesn't take 3 years of them getting to know who you are on social media, right? Or as a personal brand. You can send a direct email that takes 5 minutes at most to write, right? Like, how long does it take to send an email? Like, you don't have to build this massive reputation around yourself. You can have some solid work samples. You can know how to find your clients, and that's all it takes to start getting clients. So you don't have to spend months or years in that cycle of finding your people and having them trust you and building that trust and that relationship. You can really let your samples speak for themselves and just get clients right away through freelance copywriting. I love it. And so the other piece that's really easy about it is there's so much demand from brands. So what I found when I, first set out to be a wellness coach, wellness is like another passion of mine, and now I just get to either write for wellness brands, or I enjoy it in my free time, right? Where I cook healthy foods, and that just gets to be who I am for fun. But what I found is I had to spend a lot of time convincing people that they wanted wellness coaching. And it was so frustrating to me, because here I am, like, with the best intentions. I have left the six-figure career to go help these people. And then it's really hard, like, not everyone's ready, or they don't trust you, or they don't trust you're the right person, or they're not sure they're ready, or they're not sure it will work. And that's all fair. Like, everyone gets to decide and gets to trust and be attached to who they want to be attached with. But there's so many brands out there, and they're all bought in on copywriting and content marketing. Like, every brand out there knows that they need a website, they need social media copy, they need blogs, they need constant content to keep nurturing their audience, to keep building that credibility, building that expertise and trust. And so there's very little of that hump of like, you need this, like, you want this. It's very much like them coming to you like, we need this yesterday, there's so much of this, can you take this off? It's much more of that like urgent feeling of, they know they need help, there's no convincing, they just want someone who is qualified to do the job. And so for those reasons, like, one, that you can start right away, you can get clients in days instead of months or years. That there's such a demand from brands for it, that you get paid for every single hour you work, every email, every work product, every call with a client, you're paid for it. And that you can like work from anywhere, anytime. To me, I just wish someone would have said, hey, I know you want to start this other business idea from scratch, but did you know that you could literally just replace your corporate income this month by channeling into this other path? I mean, I don't even know what I would have done, but I would have just been like, oh, thank you. You've saved me so many tens of thousands of dollars, my savings. I mean, I never regret any of my paths. I think it's like a journey, and I've learned the lessons, and I've stumbled my way here because of it. But I'm just hoping that it gives, that I'm that person for you that says, I want you to do whatever lights you up. But if you're just looking for a way to be your own boss, to work from anywhere, anytime, to choose your clients, to be able to start making money right away, copywriting is a very, very good way to do it. And so I work on it every day through my agency. I teach how to directly, step-by-step, build this thing in Freelance to Freedom, basically how to build a six-figure copywriting career over the course of an 8-week live program. And it's not to say copywriting has to be right for you, but I hope this inspires you that there are options out there, that you can find the most direct path to getting out there and seeing the world, or spending more time with your family, or paying down debt or creating financial independence and security for yourself, of having that feeling of like, I can literally go out and make money anytime, anywhere. I know how to get clients, I know how to sell myself, and I can make $50, $75, $100 an hour doing this. So in a morning, that's almost $500. In a day, it's almost $1,000. In a week, it's almost $5,000. It's wild, right? And so again, I go more in depth on all of this in my program, and in my videos, I try and give you little nuggets along the way, and as much time as I can in a video. But anyway, check the description for more information, and let me know, like, are you thinking of leaving corporate America? Are you, or whatever job you're in, doesn't have to be corporate America. What have you been thinking of doing? Does it feel good to you? Do you have questions, fears, doubts? I know I did. I'd love to be able to help you in the comments. So reach out to me there or via email, and links are in the description if you need more information.